My name's Tom. I play bass and do vocals in Bottomfed. I live in Buzzards Bay, Mass, in Wareham. I've lived here pretty much my whole life. I was born in Brockton, but we lived in Middleborough, and we moved like right after because it was like a super small house. I live with both my parents, my little brother. My family's mad close. My older brother like lives on a farm that he works on.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which is really cool. It's like right up the street too, so we see him a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like wicked cool, wicked nice place. I went to Wareham Public Schools my whole life. Kind of sucked. I just did a semester at 4Cs. I was an English major. I'm gonna go back eventually, but I'm taking the semester off to like get a new job and, you know, get my life on track. I don't have my license either, so I need to like
You don't have your license?
Yeah, I'm 19 too.
Oh
it sucks, dude. Yeah, I started playing music when I was like little. I picked up a guitar and sucked at it, so put it down. And then like when I got to like 8th grade, I started hanging out with Alec because he lived next door to me, so we were like best friends growing up. We kind of went our separate ways when like middle school hit, because like I think it was more so me. I started like playing sports and like listening to rap and stuff. I was like a completely different kid in middle school.
Really?
It was funny, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when I started hanging out with them again, I was like interested in picking up an instrument, and my cousin had a bass guitar that he like was collecting dust, so he just gave me it, and it had like a DVD that showed you like basic like chords and modes and scales and stuff. So I did that, and then I learned like a couple Blink-182 songs. And then my friend Luke, who lives right up the street, he had a band with like Rob in our band, and our friend Matt and our friend Kevin, who was in a different band that was from our town. And we like formed a little group. We were together for like a year and a half, and that was like my first real experience with like playing music with others. We were called Letters from a Captain. It was cool. It was like rock and roll stuff. It was pretty weird. We were like all over the place, but it was a lot of fun. We played like 10, maybe like 12 shows or something.
Oh, wow,
it was cool though. It was fun. Then after that, like our lead guitarist went to college, and we tried to like butcher it. Alec played guitar for us for a little bit, but he was in another band, so that didn't really last. And then after that happened, it wasn't until I met Ryan over the internet when I went to his parents' house. He like picked me up or like came here, and we would just jam 2-piece and do like Killing in the Name of, like Wasting Time by 4 Years Strong, and that was like the only things we both knew. So I like didn't know anything. And then we had like a couple ideas for songs that translated into nothing. Like we don't even know what they are now. One day we like kind of kicked it into overdrive and realized that we needed to get like a real drummer because his friend was just jamming with us, and it was wicked fun. Like we all just jammed for fun. Like that was the point of it. But we were kind of like looking to like start a real band and like play out and stuff. So he knew Alec from school, I think, or like from the makers of. Like I knew Rob obviously from being in a band, and like hadn't talked to him, but knew he wanted to be in a hardcore band. And that's kind of what we were going for. So I hit him up, and like the very first time we were all into a room together, we wrote like pretty much what ended up being our first demo, which was just 2 songs. And like it kind of just clicked from there. Like no one else has been involved with the band since, and that was like August of 2013, I'm pretty sure. So that's really cool. This is like by far the coolest thing I've ever done in my whole life.
Wow.
We recorded those 2 songs with his ex-roommate in their basement, and we put those out. We waited to do that until like go on the internet until we had music. And I think that was a good choice. And then we started playing shows in like March or May. Like I met people through music. Like that's like the coolest thing ever. It's insane. And we did like a little run in the summer. It was like 4 shows in 4 days, which was like really cool. And now we're doing like a 3-day run next month, and we're gonna stay on the road, so that'll be even cooler.
So your parents are obviously like a huge part of your life.
Yeah, my parents are like my best friends. My dad works, he's a mason in Boston, and he works like
now for us Californians, at least for me personally, what is a mason?
A bricklayer.
Exactly? Okay.
I've been a bricklayer for like 30 plus years. When he was 17, he after his junior year of high school, he went to Virginia because his brother lived there, and he was just like an office worker, but he worked like around a bunch of construction and stuff. And my dad ended up picking up masonry from that. Then he went back, finished high school, then went to Virginia for like 8 years or 9 years or like something crazy, and just laid brick for that whole time. Then he ended up joining the union, which is just the masonry union, and he's been in that for I think 29 years now, or like some insane number. It's crazy. He's like the hardest working person on this planet, I'm convinced. He gets up at like 4 in the morning, goes to Boston, and gets back at like 4 or 5 p.m. But he does it on like Saturdays and Sundays because he makes like time and a half, which is stupid money for what he's making, and it's just like, it's insane. I admire every second of it. Like, to have him in my life is like, he's the biggest role model, definitely. My dad's the man. He's awesome. And then my mother is like my best friend. I love my mom so much. You can probably hear me right now, but she's like, my mom's been battling stage 4 breast cancer for like 5 years, and up until recently she didn't have to go through chemotherapy, but that started on Monday. So the fact that she can go through all this and then have to go through this hurdle at the end is like insane. And she's gone through a bunch of other stuff, like crazy stuff. She had like a heart attack. She was in the hospital for like 14 days, and it was just insane. Like the fact that she troops on is like absolutely mind-blowing. Like she had really bad like brain damage from that, and the doctor said like probably wasn't going to be too good. And she is like, we could have a conversation with her and she could drive to the store and like do whatever she wants. Like she's a normal person. It's fucking crazy. Like it's hard to believe, honestly. It's a miracle. Like the doctors couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Freaking like police came to my house after that, who like reported here when she had her incident, and they were like checking up on her and stuff just to see what happened. Like newspapers called us. It was like, it was insane. Like it was so overwhelming. And the fact that she can like still power on through each day is like the reason I get up in the morning. She's like everything. Honestly, I don't know how someone can do that. And like for me to complain about anything, I just think of her and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. You have nothing to complain about. Like you're a healthy person. It's insane. My little brother is like way more musically talented than me. He's like, he's a role model in himself just because he fucking dedicates every single waking second to playing music. He like got recommended for all states for trumpet and stuff, and he's doing his thing. He's been in like marching band since like sophomore year of high school. He's just like super into trumpet. Like back in the day, we used to skate and stuff all the time, and we both still do every once in a while. He was like infinitely better than me. He's one of those kids where like you give him something and he'll pick it up and like master it if he like puts his mind to it in like a day. It's insane. So yeah, we did that. We like skated a bunch and like we did that thing, and then I kind of started playing music, and he started playing like traditional music, or like classical music, I guess. And I don't know, we're in like different places musically, but we still get along a lot. Like he's an awesome person. He's super duper talented. He's crazy. It gets overwhelming hearing him play trumpet every fucking second of the day, but it's awesome. I like support it hard.
Yeah.
Like earlier I was like pissed that he was playing because it's constant, but like he can do it as much as he wants and I don't care because he's following his dreams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Following our dreams. Like I said, my older brother, he my room is like covered in awesome artwork and a bunch of awesome stuff because of him. He's like a super duper good artist. He's really into like agriculture and stuff. He went to school for that. He went to school for 2 years at UMass Amherst, or like a year and a half, then went to Costa Rica for 6 months.
Wow.
Did this thing called couch surfing.
Yeah, I know couchsurfers.com.
Which is pretty much just like, for those of you who don't know or whatever, is people like spending the night at random people's houses who they've never met in like other countries. Like that is insane. He's like the coolest dude. He like, every time I talk to him, he tells me some crazy story of some shit he did, and he's like so humble about everything. It's insane. Like he's a really good musician too. He probably wouldn't admit it, but he's really good at guitar and stuff. I don't know if he pursues it at all, low key maybe, but he's awesome. We hang out a lot. I wish we hung out more, but you know, he lives right up the street. We should hang out all the time and we don't, but that's that, I guess.
Where do you see yourself going with this band? Ooh. Do you want to take this to the next level? Are you trying to?
Hell yes. Are you serious? Like, I don't know. Like I'm taking this semester off because school's really overwhelming, and like I had a job my whole I worked from freshman year to a few weeks ago. I had to quit a job so we could play a show. Like I called my boss and tried calling out, and he was like, "Look, man, I'm taking you off the schedule if you can't get covered," and like no one comes in, and that's kind of what had to happen. So that sucked. Like being without a job is like really shitty, but I have all this free time, and like I did good at school at the end, but like juggling school and a job was so impossible. Like, and trying to keep the band like active as fuck, it was like overwhelming. So I'm gonna I have a full-time job lined up, so I'm just gonna do that in the band, and I'm hoping like we can really just make a push this next year.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do it by yourself.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
Same thing goes with like any field of art that you're in. Everybody and their mother's trying to do it.
Yep.
So like, and although even in that category, there's a lot of people who are unique and who deserve it, but you need to like push and push and push and push and push. Like every single second, I'm refreshing my email or like looking at my Facebook messages to see who's got back to me about shows or like, yeah, dude, like we're always grinding, trying to do something for this band. We would be on the road right now if we had money. Like we don't have a van. Our freaking guitarist stepbrother like dirt bike, so we use his dirt bike trailer for like our little runs and stuff. We're trying to eventually get a van and do like an East Coast tour, hopefully sometime next year. Gonna keep pushing this. So it's like the only thing I really like have a big aspiration to do is music in my life. Like I've always been, ever since like freshman, sophomore year of high school, I've had a really big thing into like creative writing and like just writing like short stories and mostly poetry. I have notebooks on notebooks just full from like high school. It, like helped me get through a lot of stuff that I went through in high school and like a lot of bullshit. Like I have really bad sleeping problems. I'm never ever asleep. Like I fell asleep at 5 o'clock this morning, woke up at 9, had a 2-hour final, and like I'm wide awake right now. It's like unhealthy. I'm like, my average sleep is like 4 or 5 hours a night, and like I would just be writing the entire time. And like not doing homework, but writing just fucking shit like instead. Like I don't know, I was a weird kid in high school. Like now being in a band and having like a creative outlet for those lyrics is like unthinkable. It's like the coolest thing ever. Like literally like this band, these experiences that I've had just like playing like those 4 shows in a row, and you freaking coming here from LA and like working with us this week is like the coolest shit that's ever happened to me, like bar none, honestly. It's like I don't want anything but this, straight up. Like I just want to play music.
If Bottomfed withers out,
if we like go our separate ways or something, I'm gonna keep doing music. Like I'm involved in like 2 small projects, I guess. I do like a lot of hip hop stuff, which is like super fun just because like the lyricism is always there, and like me and my buddy Rich from Deficiency plays guitar. We're working on some acoustic stuff that's gonna hopefully like go somewhere eventually. So I don't know if this fades out, which it never will. I'll keep doing music, absolutely, and just keep going with the boat, I guess, following my dreams. Yeah. Until I want to grow up and go back to school.
Okay, do you have any traumatic things that you've gone through that you've overcome, and
yeah,
do you mind talking about them?
Yeah, of course. Like I spoke about my mother earlier. I didn't get into details. I guess I will. It's pretty much, it was September, I think 27th. It was my junior year. My girlfriend at the time and I went to my friend Tyler's house, which is like right in Onset, like before, like you pass his house going to his house. It's pretty close. It's like right near Benny's and stuff. We like hung out there, walked back, and when we got to my house, my mother was like face down on our kitchen floor pretty much. And my brother was calling 911, and my dad had like this look that I've never seen on him. He just looked like hopeless, like he looked terrified. He gave my mother mouth to mouth, and like without a doubt that like saved her life. The EMTs showed up and they told me to like restrain my dog. So my girlfriend and I went into the bathroom and we heard the EMTs like shock my mother back to life, and it was like fucking insane. Like I don't know, I don't like to look at it as like overcoming anything, because that's her, and like she's just like my inspiration, you know what I mean? Like that was her going through something and me learning from it as a product of it, kind of.
Definitely.
And like, I don't know, that's definitely like the biggest thing I think that I've overcome or whatever.
How do you think that shaped you as a person?
I think it made me a lot stronger. I like, whenever my mom and I get into a fight, I hate myself after. Like I realized how much I took like everything, not even just family, like we all take life for granted so much, like it can change like that. It really can, like it's insane. Like she has like heart problems and stuff and has a heart monitor, and like the doctors called us one time and they called her in because her heart just like stopped randomly one night, and like it was fine, like it started back up again or something, but like it's just crazy that literally you can blink your eyes and just not open them, I guess. Like shit can just change like that. I think that it made me a lot stronger and made me really grateful for every single thing, every single person I have in my life. We all have our little like emotional battles and stuff.
Totally.
I think that depression is a very loose word. I think that people throw it around a lot. I think that like I had problems with that though. It's hard, like I never went to a doctor or anything. I just had good friends who were there for me, and like my girlfriend at the time and stuff. We ended up breaking up, and it was like a long-term relationship, long story short, and like getting over that and realizing that you can't be dependent on someone else for your happiness was like me getting close to crossing that bridge, I would say.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to put it. It's like, it's a weird thing to talk about, put into words, but I think that like being by yourself is like true happiness if you're satisfied, because if not, you're like, you have someone there providing happiness for you because you're not lonely and you have someone's comfort to fall back on. And I had that for like the entirety of high school, which is like, I never really felt heartbreak until like this summer or whatever. And like that mixed in with whatever I was going through at the time was really bad. Like the end of this summer, I like was a mess. It was awful, but like hung out with Alec and Dakota every single day, and they freaking got me out of it, and here I am. And like, it's definitely a lot easier now, I'd say. Like, I'm not dependent on anyone. I'm like my own person entirely. I don't need to text a cute girl all day to like feel happiness, you know what I mean? And a lot of people do that, like, I don't know. A lot of people, even if they're in relationships, they'll get out and then talk to someone to just numb that pain. And like, I definitely did that a little bit, but it just kind of happened, you know what I mean? It was more so just like me trying to fill that void. Then I realized that that's only yourself who can fill that void. It's not another person. And I think that that was like me maturing at its finest and like me really growing up and realizing that.
So after you've seen, obviously, like, you've gone through a lot more than most people have gone through, especially with like your family and stuff. How do you stay positive? How do you keep moving forward? What drives you to the next level?
I think like a lot of people have things they do that keep them happy, like play basketball or do art and like stuff like that, and that's what I do. Like a normal person, I like writing a lot. Like every single day, probably 60 minutes of my day is dedicated to writing every day. And playing music, like whenever we practice, more so when we play a show, is just like my big release, I feel like. Yeah. Especially like if we don't play one for like a month or two, which doesn't really happen, but when it does, it's just like big weight lifted off my shoulders whenever we play. But I think what really keeps me what keeps me positive in general is just my friends. Like my friends are the greatest people in the world. Like I can't believe I was born into a town that has this many excellent people. It's like overwhelming. Like I could name like 10 people that I hang out with that are like the greatest people on this planet. Like it's awesome. I think that having them in my life is like, I can't be that sad if they're there because they're like the greatest people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that mixed with like me doing whatever, me playing music, me writing, me skating, me doing my thing is just kind of how I live my life. You know what I mean?
Do you have any suggestions or, I guess suggestions is the best word, for people who are experiencing either depression or going through a difficult family issue? Do you have anything that you would like tell somebody, like to just focus on this, or?
I would say that for one, it does get better. Like everyone has like a low point in their life, and of course it's like stereotypical or whatever, but things can only be bad for so long. Like someone's life will turn around, but beyond that, it's on you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like a big part of me realized that I have very good friends who have a very worse situation than me, who are like always smiling. Sure, behind closed curtains, for a fact that they're like sad here and there and stuff, but it's all on you. Like it's all perception. Every single moment in your life is perception. Like if something bad happens, you can take that and dwell on it and hate yourself for it, or you can look at how it makes you better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if your girlfriend dumps you, like that sucks. You don't have a girlfriend anymore, but you, like I said, you're your own person. You can get a new girlfriend. You can do whatever. Like there's just so much you can do. You don't need to dwell on stuff and be depressed. Like I don't know. As far as family problems go, like my family doesn't argue or anything, so I can't front. Like we have huge problems in our house. It's all just like health and stuff. But I would say just like find someone who you can talk to. You know what I mean? Like there's always somebody you can talk to. Like if it's not one of your family members, it's a good friend or like a teacher at your school or your boss or like someone will listen. Like anyone would rather you talk to them than you like be dead on the inside and just like hate living. You know what I mean? Like I think that works in pretty much every situation. And if it doesn't, which is some people's case where they like really feel cornered and know where to go, which is like really sad, that's when they need to find something on their own, like find a hobby, which is like, they call it a hobby because it's something you do in your spare time, but you can like, it can help you a lot. You can like get a lot off your mind just by keeping occupied.
Yeah.
Do your homework, like do something. Don't just sit on your bed, you know what I mean? Like just do something and your mind will be focused on something and it will take it off, that stress.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? And of course, just like, a lot of people find hope in music. A lot of people will listen to music when they're down. And I think that like pretty much everyone on the planet does. Like, and that's a big suggestion. I think like if you're ever down, just put on your favorite album. Like, you're safe there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no matter what happens, you can go home and listen to something that'll make you happy, or read your favorite book, or like watch a show or a movie or something. There's always like some safe haven for you to fly to when you're in a bad place, I think.
Yeah.
And to like just find what that is for yourself, and to like find yourself in that, like on those terms, is really like battling depression. I think that's when you're kind of overcoming it. That's when you're starting to realize who you are and how you can conquer those things.